What drives a man to chase the impossible until it destroys him? Leonardo da Vinci, the ultimate Renaissance man, artist, inventor, scientist, dreamer. He painted the Mona Lisa, designed war machines, and dissected the human body when it was forbidden. But beneath his genius was a storm, a man haunted by his own mind, racing against time, against enemies, against himself. This is the untold story of Leonardo, where brilliance became his curse and his greatest masterpiece might have been his downfall. Born in 1452 in Vinci, Italy, Leonardo was a bastard, illegitimate, unwanted. His father, a wealthy notary, abandoned him to his peasant mother. In a world where lineage meant everything, Leonardo had nothing. But he had his eyes. He saw the world differently. While other boys played, he sketched. Birds, rivers, faces. Nature was his teacher, and he was obsessed with its secrets. At 14, his father sent him to Florence, to apprentice under the great artist Verrocchio. Florence was a cauldron of art, power, and danger. The Medici ruled with an iron fist, and artists were pawns in their game. Leonardo learned to paint, sculpt, and survive. But his mind was restless. He questioned everything: why birds fly, how light bends, what lies beneath human skin. His curiosity wasn't just bold, it was dangerous. At 24, disaster struck. Leonardo was accused of sodomy, a crime punishable by death. The charges were dropped, but the stain lingered. He became an outsider, a genius no one trusted. He poured his pain into his work, but his mind grew darker. He wrote backwards, in code, hiding his thoughts from the world. What was he so afraid of? Florence rejected him, so Leonardo fled to Milan. He wrote to Ludovico Sforza, promising war machines, tanks, catapults, flying contraptions. He called himself a military engineer, but he was a dreamer in a world of war. Ludovico hired him, not for weapons, but for pageants. Leonardo, the visionary, was reduced to designing costumes. The humiliation burned, but Leonardo didn't bend. He worked in secret, sketching flying machines, submarines, anatomical studies. He dissected corpses in the dead of night, risking execution, to understand the body's machinery. His notebooks filled with ideas centuries ahead of his time. Yet Milan's wars loomed. Ludovico demanded a colossal horse statue, the largest ever cast. Leonardo toiled for years, but the bronze was melted down for cannons. His dream was shattered. Milan collapsed, and Leonardo fled again. He was 48, a failure in the eyes of the world, but his mind burned brighter than ever. He painted The Last Supper, a masterpiece of emotion, but the paint flaked within years. Even his triumphs were cursed. Back in Florence, Leonardo faced a new enemy: Michelangelo. The young sculptor mocked him, called him a dreamer who never finished anything. The city pitted them against each other, commissioning rival battle paintings. Leonardo's Battle of Anghiari was a frenzy of war and chaos. But he experimented with new techniques, and the paint melted. Another failure. Michelangelo's taunts echoed in his mind. Then came the Mona Lisa, a portrait of a merchant's wife, but Leonardo saw something more. Her smile, enigmatic, knowing, became his obsession. He painted her for years, layer after layer, never finishing. Was she a reflection of his own mystery? He carried her everywhere, a secret he couldn't let go. In his final years, Leonardo sought refuge in France, under King Francis I's protection. His hands shook from a stroke, but his mind raced. He designed machines to drain swamps, sketched apocalyptic floods, and wrote of a world reborn through destruction. He knew he was running out of time. On May 2nd, 1519, Leonardo died in Francis's arms, or so the legend says. But his notebooks, thousands of pages, were scattered. Many were lost, others hidden. They held secrets, codes, inventions, prophecies. What was he hiding? Leonardo da Vinci didn't just create art, he created mystery. His notebooks hint at knowledge he never shared, ideas too dangerous for his time. Some say he encoded a map to a lost invention, a machine that could change the world. It's never been found. So, was Leonardo a genius, or a man who saw too much?